Hey, this is Rachel Friedman, and you are listening to The Wellness Boss. To really compete in the wellness industry, you have to have a fully integrated business. That's why each week I will be answering your questions, sharing my stories, giving you tips and advice on how to create a business you love and that makes money. Let's get started. Hey, this is Rachel Friedman, and you are listening to the Wellness Boss Podcast, episode number 36. Happiness isn't the goal. So, it recently snowed here in Atlanta, which it doesn't happen often. I think we got a total of a half an inch, and of course, everyone is totally freaking out, including my husband. I love him dearly, but he grew up in the South. And of course, a little bit of snow sends everyone into a frenzy. Anyways, I love looking outside my window. It's pretty. And to me, it's like, yeah, let's go on with our lives. Because really, it's nothing. I grew up north and went to school at Syracuse for my undergrad, and we would get so much snow that I couldn't see above it. Now, I'm only 5 feet too, but literally would pile up and there would be just mounds and mounds of snow. And never, ever do I remember them canceling class. You figured it out. You put on your hat, your gloves, your big jacket, and you got there. That's just how it was. Now, I do fully understand that here in Atlanta, we don't have much equipment, right? So it's a little bit trickier. But seriously, people, it's not that big of a deal. Just go slow. Take your time, and you got this. All right, so there's my little preach about the snow. And if you, like me, are here in Atlanta, just enjoy it, especially if you're listening to this in real time. Maybe even give yourself permission, if it hasn't melted yet when you're listening to this, although probably will have, to make a snowman or be playful. Because as adults, I think we forget how important this is in nourishing and fueling our soul. Anyways, did the title of today's episode shock you? I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Let's be real. Since we have all been kids, we have been brainwashed to believe that happiness is the goal. At least I know I was. Seriously, guys, there are millions of books published each year on the subject of happiness. I have no idea the actual number, but just Google happiness or go on Amazon and look for books on happiness, and the pages go on and on and on, trying to teach you how to achieve this. So you might be wondering, well, I'm telling you that happiness isn't the goal. You probably think I've lost my mind, some of you. Maybe some of you are on the same page as me. So you might be wondering, why am I telling you this? The truth is, you can like what I'm going to have to say today, or you can totally reject it. That's up to you. But my suggestion is, hear me out, because what I'm going to share with you might just blow your mind and change how you are doing this thing we call life. But before we dive in, I want to shout out the ladies who have joined the Live Your Dharma Coaching Certification. You ladies are fucking incredible. Look, it takes courage to invest in yourself and your future. You have to be willing to face all your insecurities and believe in yourself on an entire new level. You're literally creating a new self-identity, a new self-concept. And that alone is incredible. I'm sorry, it is. I am so honored to be able to lead and guide them in this process. When this episode comes out, I believe it will be the last day that I will take an application. So if you want to be in this high-touch, supportive container filled with a bunch of badasses who are going to seriously make this world a better place, you should seriously join. It's a no-brainer. I mean, look, guys, I give you your money back. It's a money-back guarantee if you don't absolutely love it. All right. And if you are listening to this episode in the future or after we close the doors, get yourself on the wait list for the next round, because there's nothing like this experience out there. Okay. I might be a little biased, but I've been in several different programs and several different certifications, And this one, in my opinion, surpasses all of them, all of them, because of the blend. Most coaching programs that I've been a part of, they teach you one modality, but I've combined three different realms of healing to help people achieve their goals. So some of you know I was a therapist. So there is a background in therapy. There are tools that come from my NYU education. And then some of you know I've spent 2 decades as a yoga teacher and studio owner. Well, no longer studio owner, but all of that yoga education wisdom and experience is infused in this training that I've never seen in any other life coaching program. And then, of course, my experience, my education that I've received from completing what I believe is one of the best certifications out there, all blended together. All right, so that's my spiel about the program. If you're not in it now, you should definitely get on the wait list for the next round. So, why should you stop chasing happiness? Why is it not the goal? First off, I want to talk about this concept that we talk about sometimes in yoga. Sometimes we talk about it also in coaching and just in life, sometimes in religion, in spirituality, but it's called duality, the law of duality. And it actually was first coined by a mathematician. And according to Google, right? I just went to Google and looked up the definition just so I could make sure that I got it straight for you. Is the quality or state of having two different or opposite parts or elements. Okay. In spiritual terms, duality relies heavily on the concept of to know ourselves and the complexities of life. These two opposing forces balance your life and can counteract each other if necessary. So all things are considered to be on a continuum and are considered the extremes of the same thing. I want you to hear that again. All things are considered to be on a continuum and are considered the extremes of the same thing. So let's be real. You can't be happy all the time. It's just not how life works. You can't even understand happiness without sadness, just like you can't experience anger without pleasure or disappointment without satisfaction. They coexist. Really, what we should all be working towards is having a human experience, which is feeling all of the emotions, 50% of the time feeling the negative ones and 50% of the time feeling the positive ones. And then, of course, what comes in between. But when you are chasing happiness, you miss out on so much of what life has to offer. Because in truth, most people will avoid, or should I say, try to avoid the negative emotions. When you do that, right, you're blocking the ability to feel the positive ones fully, to feel that happiness that so many of us are craving. What if all feelings are welcome and acceptable? What if nothing has gone wrong when you feel a negative emotion? You could stop chasing this false reality and instead embrace what is. Stop being afraid to do all the hard shit, right? Because of the negative emotions that might come with it. Feeling all the human emotions can be scary at first. Look, guys, I get it. Especially if you've been blocking or resisting them for a really long time, it's going to feel maybe overwhelming at first. But in full honesty, you have to be willing to feel those negative emotions to feel the positive ones. Remember, this is the law of duality. It's how it works. Truthfully, let's just be honest here. Do you want to feel joy when someone you love passes? Fuck no. I want to feel sadness, and it's necessary for the grieving process. But if the goal is to feel happy all the time, then it means you would be choosing to feel happiness when someone you love passes or gets hurt. To me, it makes no sense at all. So, what if instead of trying to be happy all the time, start by inviting yourself to feel every emotion? Yes, even the big, scary ones, my friends. And if this terrifies you, put your hand on your heart and know you are not alone. Many people are totally numb. I know I used to be one of those people because, like you, I was terrified to feel the negative emotions. So what happened is I also blocked out the positive emotions, which just left me kind of numb. And I thought it would take me to a really dark place, if I'm honest. And I thought I wouldn't be able to recover from it. So I just avoided it all. But we aren't given anything we can't handle. At least that's what I choose to believe. I believe God only gives us things that we can handle. And if you don't believe that yet, then let me believe it for you. Let me hold that space for you. And there are tools to support us in this process. Tools that enable us as humans to be able to get back up and to keep going. So we don't have to fall into that dark place where we can't get out of bed. One, for example, is learning how to process your emotions so you can soften and release them. And if you haven't listened to the episode yet on processing your emotions, go back and listen. I highly recommend it. It is a good one. There are also things like intentional breath work and tapping that can help you regulate your nervous system so you can then go process your emotions, because sometimes your nervous system is in fight or flight and it's keeping you. It's trying to keep you safe. That's what it thinks it's doing, but it's really holding you on. It's holding tight, right? Which is making it so much harder to release those emotions. Yes, the joy, the pleasure, the happiness, and the fun, but also give yourself permission to feel the anger, the sadness, the frustration, and the disappointment, guys. Because when you grow your capacity to feel these emotions, capacity for their opposite grows too. Remember, they're all on a continuum. When you let yourself feel the emotions and stop using buffers, which are just false pleasures, life can get really incredible. See, these false pleasures are actually keeping you from having a truly incredible life. They give you a short-term fix, but in the long run, they always lead us down a road of self-sabotage and feeling like utter, complete crap. Think about it. You're feeling frustrated because no one is taking you up on your offer, okay? Maybe you put an offer out there for people to work with you one-on-one. So you buffer by going and getting a glass of wine, or maybe you go grab the box of cookies. Now, yes, in the immediate moment, you feel better because you get a quick fix of dopamine. But when that dopamine rush ends, which it is quick, guys, you either need another glass of wine or more cookies to keep that feeling going. So you either end up overindulging, it's always what seems to happen, or you put the wine and the cookies down and you got to feel the feeling. Most of the time, what I see happens for a lot of people, even coaches who know this stuff, is we overindulge. And it only leaves you feeling worse than you did in the first place, because now you've piled on top of the negative feeling, the negative emotion, guilt and regret for what you did for your buffer. See, it's this endless cycle that just doesn't work. Okay, so that's enough for my rant today. But I want you to really question yourself. Is it happiness that I want to feel all the time? Or am I willing to have a true human experience and feel all of it? 50% of the time, the emotions that fall, what we would say, on the negative side. And then 50% of the time, feel all of the deliciousness. Trust me, the human experience is so much better than chasing happiness, at least in my experience, what I've observed in the hundreds of people I have worked with. So give it a shot. Put happiness on the shelf right now and instead give yourself permission to feel all of it. And I want to know what happens when you do this. So please let me know. You can either message me on Instagram, you can send me an email, right? You can click on the link from the podcast and post something there. Next week, I'm super excited to have a guest on the podcast. She's a peer of mine. She's a momentum sister. She's in the mastermind I'm a part of. And she's awesome, guys. She is the coolest woman out there. She lives in, not coolest, but she's really freaking cool. And she's going to share some crazy wisdom and knowledge with you about magic. All right. If you're listening to this in real time and you want to learn how to embody that human experience on a really deep, powerful level, the best way is inside the Live Your Dharma Coaching Certification, because we take it, all the tools, and we apply them. You apply them first to yourself, and then you apply them and you practice them with your peers. Once you practice them with your peers, you go out there into the world and you share them. And what happens is, through embodying them and practicing them over and over and over, you expand on such an incredible level. Your confidence grows in a way that you could have never possibly imagined. And you get this thing called a fantastic human experience filled life. All right, guys. So go have a human experience. Fill your life with all of the emotions. Go back and listen to processing your emotions so you can process through them. and have a wonderful, wonderful human week. Till next time, namaste, friends. Ready to create a soul-aligned business that makes an impact and leaves you feeling nourished, both emotionally and financially? Done feeling burnt out and overextended, trying to juggle that 9-to-5 job, a family, a side hustle, which is really what you are meant to be doing, but just haven't figured out yet how to make it happen so you can maintain your current lifestyle? I get it. I was exactly in your shoes not that long ago, teaching 20 yoga classes a week, juggling being a single mom, and making enough money to support our lifestyle. It wasn't easy. Then I discovered the work I had been doing with my students in yoga teacher training had another name. It's called coaching. It was applying yoga tools, modalities, philosophies, and principles off the mat. I began to offer this to my students, and they loved it. And I was able to make the amount of money to support my family. Over the last 2 decades, I have been helping people transform their lives through therapy, yoga, and coaching. I'm so excited to have coupled all my knowledge into one place so others can pass it on, so more people can benefit from these amazing tools. It all happens inside the Live Your Dharma Coaching Certification. You will learn how to teach yoga off the mat, not the postures, people. Help people transform their lives, and guess what? Yours too. And you will also build the foundation for a 6-figure business. Because let's be real, you do need to make money to live in this world. The doors are open. I take 10 people. So save your spot. Go to https://bit.ly, bit.ly/LYDCC. And if you didn't get that, don't worry, it's in the show notes. See you next week for another amazing episode.